Tubesta striimi päällä.
Pitäisi alkaa juuri jotakuinkin nyt.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the second half of our Working Life event. This is the first event of 4 this year, provided to you by the Student Union of the University of Eastern Finland, or in short, ISYY. Today we have next Aleksandra Nenankova talking about, what are you talking about, Aleksandra? You can explain yourself. But this last part of this day is pointed towards our international talents. So hope you enjoy and get so much from this. And Aleksandra, you can start.
Thank you. Excuse me, everyone, that the camera is not working, but there is some difficulty with this Jitsi and the connection. So now I share my presentation and I will talk about international talents employability. So I'm presenting here on behalf of North Korean ELY Center, and it's my pleasure to greet everyone watching and listening. And this presentation will guide you on the way to finding a job in Finland. ELY Center stands for the Center for Economic Development, Transport and Environment, and its job is to analyze and forecast changes in the operating environment and prepare strategies of regional development in collaboration with regional councils. And my department deals with the issues related to employment and competence, as well as immigration and integration. And personally, I coordinate the activities of local stakeholders dealing with employment and integration of international talents with the frame of the Talent Boost collaborative governmental program. It focuses on attracting talents from abroad and retaining them in the region, with the ultimate goal to maintain sustainable development of the country. And you can read more about it later following the link, which is on the slide. And talent here means any person who has potential to grow here, to get education and to get employment in Finland. So it doesn't have to do with anything with extraordinary skills. So in this presentation, I will focus on 4 aspects related to finding a job in Finland as a foreigner. It is some legal aspects, the right to work, then the process of searching for a job, the process of applying for a job, and your next steps and strategy. So by the right to work, I mean the legal permission to be employed in Finland while not being a citizen. So before you sign your first work contract, please make sure you have the legal right to be engaged into employment relations. There are different requirements for various categories of people. The citizens of the countries of the European Union and the European Economic Area have the right to work in Finland without restrictions. But please don't forget to register with the Finnish Immigration Service, Migri. So the only thing you need is to register. Citizens of other countries legally residing in Finland based on family ties also have unrestricted right to work here. But those whose residence permit is based on work or entrepreneurship may have some restrictions, as for example, the obligation to work in the initially approved field or company, etc. So please check these restrictions following the link. As a student, you have legal permission to work up to 25 hours per week on average. So this means that sometimes you can work less and sometimes you can work more than that, but your total working load should not exceed the average of 25 hours per week. And also you can work full-time on holidays when your educational institution offers no instruction. Then for researchers, the situation is a little bit better in terms of finding employment. So researchers' residence permit allows you to work more. And you can start working as a researcher already while waiting for your researcher's permit on condition that you legally reside in Finland on other grounds. A good piece of news is that in 2021, Finland initiated the process of reforming the Aliens Act. So it's the law about immigrants. So very soon in April 2022, the members of parliament will be voting for the amendments suggested by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment. And the amendments include a single visa for the duration of the study period, increased allowed working hours for students, and prolonging the period of student stay in Finland for 2 years rather than 1 after graduation. So the situation is changing, and in case of doubt, I strongly recommend you to check your situation with the Finnish Immigration Service. Migri has extremely user-friendly web pages and personnel whom you can talk to in English via phone or using their chatbot. And then we go to searching for a job. By searching, I mean your active process of searching via verb or asking from people. And I would recommend to start your job search from the website jobsinfinland.fi. This is a resource especially for English-speaking job positions. So right now, just today I checked, we can find more than 1,500 English-speaking jobs available throughout Finland. That means that the official business language of the company offering job is English. Then another good resource is Info Finland. Info Finland has a lot information related to life here as an immigrant, related to studies, general life matters, and employment also. So there is a list of different websites and places where you can find information about vacancies and about different work-related issues, such as, for example, information provided by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Employment, and so on. Another good resource is TE Office. So it is an office providing service for those who are looking for a job. But you can become its client when you already have a degree, you are not a full-time student, and you are unemployed. So you should ask them, do you count as their client or not? And then they can provide a lot of guidance and different services for you as immigrants, starting from integration courses, which include also Finnish language courses, and a lot more. From them, you can also ask about unemployment benefit, but you can't get it right after getting your degree, so it comes with time. And there is another interesting resource called kokeile.työmarkkinatori.fi. So it is a governmental resource. It is pretty new, so it's still in its trial version, and its aim is to provide the whole range of jobs available in Finland in one place. So it's a very useful resource, and it is being developed at the moment, but already now you can go there and register your profile and start looking for a job. As for our region, North Karelia, North Karelian Regional Council has its own website, maailmankarjalaiset.fi, and there you can find a lot of jobs available, but most of them require the Finnish language skill. But still, we have Google Translate, and you can browse their website and just check what kind of jobs are available at the moment. So right now, more than 1,000 open jobs are available in North Karelia. That means not only Joensuu, but the neighboring cities also. Then, when we talk about those job offers and vacancies and positions, we are talking about open jobs. Open means that we can really find them, that there are announcements about them. They are made public. And according to professional recruiters, only 20 to 30% of available jobs are made public. It's a huge surprise for many, but yes, in Finland, the most jobs are hidden. So there is a controversy. Why hidden jobs? Do they ever exist, or it is just a saying as an excuse that you don't find jobs because they're hidden? No, I would answer that they do exist, and I got my job as a hidden job offer. So they do exist, but why companies are not announcing them? It doesn't mean that they offer jobs for their friends. No, it doesn't mean that. Sometimes it means that the company does not want to make public their development ideas, because there are competitors who can steal some ideas and be first. Sometimes a company just is not obliged to make the public job offer. For example, in terms of jobs, not permanent jobs. If they require a worker for less than a year, there is no legal obligation to make a public announcement. And another issue is that as internationals, we may feel uncomfortable to contact a company if it is not recruiting at the moment. So please be brave and contact and talk. Maybe you find something. So no, you don't annoy a company. You are just being proactive when you contact a company which is not recruiting. So to read more about hidden jobs, I suggest you following the link. There is a very interesting article about this concept. So if the jobs are hidden, that means that you should be open, and I suggest you being proactive and start collaboration with recruiting agencies. For job seekers, their services are free. So do check what recruiting agencies are there and go there and create your profiles. Sometimes you get some guidance from them, and then they have your information, and it's their job to find you a place of work. Because when a company needs number of workers company pays to recruiting agencies, and then they can contact you. So they need you, they need your information there. Then you can go straight to the company's web pages and check, do they have open positions? Or maybe they have online form for open applications. And do fill open applications, even if you are not sure that this company is interested in your profile. Just try, and this will give your experience of writing about yourself and filling in different applications, because on your way to your career here, you really need the skill of filling in applications. For example, in the University of Eastern Finland, there is a place where you can find information about open positions and fill this open application in. And the third working way is social media, of course. In Finland, LinkedIn is widely used, and I strongly recommend you create and update your own profile there and mark all your work experiences, and also maybe some volunteer work. So create a nice profile reflecting what kind of worker you are, not just the profile showing that you exist and saying that your profession is such. Do write more about more details and make contacts there. Also, some job announcements are available in Facebook. Another option to being proactive and public is to start your own blog and write something. Choose a topic related to your field. Just write comments to some articles or your views on some matters that are being discussed currently. And then when some employer gets interested in your profile, employer can read and discover your personality better via your blog. So it gives you more chances to get employed. Now, when you find the right place you want to apply, so what's the process of application? You should prepare separately for each application. You need a CV, you need a cover letter, and hopefully you'll be invited to the interview. So CV, hopefully you understand what CV means, and the cover letter is just a letter that you send via email or in paper, which says that you are applying for a certain position. So sending a CV is not enough. You should always accompany your CV with a letter saying that you are applying for a certain position. And when you send this information and when you are being interviewed, please remember this pyramid. I included here information about education, about work experience, and skills and competences part. So you see that your degree, your profession is the very top of this pyramid. If you say somebody that you are, for example, a translator, it says a little about your experience in general and about what else you can do except really translating one text from one language to another. Because through your work experience, you gained a lot more skills like presentation skills, copywriting skills, and you can write about it in your CV. And you can also write about other skills and competences not related to work, but maybe related to your volunteer activity or related to your hobby. And I recommend you have your profile described in a very condensed way. So by profile, I mean some short description of yourself about what kind of person you are and what you are striving for. So now you can read. In CV, usually it comes in the very top of your CV, right after your name. So the person reading your CV can right away find this information about you. So it's up to a couple of sentences or sometimes even one phrase. It's enough to describe who you are and what you can bring to the company. But in cover letter, you can write a little bit more, up to one passage. So briefly describe your story and career path, but not the whole path, not the whole range of your wide experiences, but just the very meaningful experiences and skills leading to the position you're applying for. So it's not necessary to show your whole life story. And already during the interview or short introduction, you should be able not only to present yourself, but also briefly using a couple of sentences, tell your employer, your potential employer, what you can bring to the company, why the company should get interested into you as a professional. And remember that we have only 10 seconds to make the first impression. You can even notice it in the eyes of your opponent. So try to be really brief. As I mentioned, your CV should necessarily have information about your education and experience. If you have job experience, I'd suggest it comes first in your CV because it shows that you really have something to offer. And I'd suggest to write most recent jobs first. And many immigrants don't mention their previous experience from their home country. And I consider this approach to be wrong because you are a single personality. You shouldn't start here from zero. You have some experiences and you have education from home countries that is also meaningful. While sometimes education from other countries is not recognized, it still matters because it shows the level you was on in your home country. Then also as experiences, you can mention traineeships and volunteering and also relevant hobbies. So for example, if you are applying for some position in the field of communications, well, of course, knitting socks is a good hobby, but it has nothing to do with communications. But if you had a hobby of writing your own blog, that matters, and I would recommend mention these. And about education, already I said that degrees from home country should also be mentioned. And please do mention all relevant courses, some training and retraining courses, some certificates, and of course, if you have a Finnish language proficiency certificate or English language proficiency certificate, you can also include them. Next, In your cover letter and in your interview, you should be brief and provide only relevant information. Sorry. And it's important to use appropriate language and clear sentences so that you sound logical. And already in the stage of interviewing, you should show that you are not only answering the questions, you are also giving sufficient details, not in a formal way, but telling extra information if needed. And please ask questions yourself, because it shows that you already know something about the company, about the position, and they can contact you later, or you can engage into a conversation with your potential employer. So when you did all this and you got rejection, what you do next? Search for more opportunities, keep monitoring offers, attend job fairs, and preferably offline. Hopefully soon we will have more opportunities for offline meetings, and build your professional network and develop it. To increase your employability, learn Finnish if you want to work in Finland. There are a lot of courses at the UEF, online, in other educational institutions. Some courses are provided by the library. Then find a place for internship, because it will expand your network and bring you more opportunities. And develop your own strategy. By strategy, I mean that you always should have some plan B. So if you can't find a job in one field for a couple of years or more, maybe you should think of choosing another path. It shouldn't be totally different path. It can be related to what you are currently doing as your hobby, for example. Or it should be something close to what you do, but maybe a little bit different. So be open, plan. And if you need support, you can always contact UEF Career and Counseling Services. And there are more guiding opportunities and services available, and you will listen more about them today. So as a take-home message, I suggest that you plan what you do, try, gain experience, and repeat. So I thank you for listening. This is all.
Thank you so much, Alexandra, for this so informative session. And I don't see any questions in the YouTube stream, but do you have anything else you want to say, or do we just close this session down for now?
Oh, well, I think I provided a lot of links, and if it's possible to share these presentations so that people could follow the links, actually, there is a lot more information than I presented. But at the moment, I think I won't add anything else.
I think if you provide me the links, I can add those into the YouTube description.
Okay. Then thank you and see you in other events.
Thank you so much for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for this such an amazing session.
Live streaming is on.
No niin.
Nyt on tubestakin. Yeah, so hello everyone and welcome back to our Working Life Day part 1, or the first day of the year. Next we have Antti Räty from Luotsi Joensuu telling about their services. And go ahead, Antti.
Thank you. I hope all of you can hear me loud and clear here. So my name is Antti Räty. I work as a job agent or individual coach here in city of Joensuu at Luotsi Joensuu. My background is a Master of Education. I graduated from the University of Eastern Finland in 2016. And today I'm going to present a little bit about the services we offer here at Luotsi Joensuu. And of course, in the end, you may ask questions as well. So a little bit of background why Luotsi was born in the first place. We work as a project, or are as a project, and we started 1st of August in 2019. And we will be active until the end of June 2023. So about a little bit over a year from now. Of course, the reason Luotsi was born, the concern of unemployment rate, especially here in the Joensuu area. And of course, the longer unemployment periods were and actually are still a little more common here than in Finland in general. And one of our goals was to lower the unemployment rate of Joensuu to the national level. Now, on the right side of the slide, you may see the unemployment rates in the end of January this year. So Joensuu unemployment rate is 14.4, and the national rate in Finland is 10.4%. It was also noticed that there were some overlapping services, and some of the services might have been also a little bit insufficient in regards of the needs of the job seekers and people looking for jobs and education in general. And that area needed some kind of developing, and we wanted to address that as well. And of course, perceptions that job seekers and employers in this area didn't encounter properly. So the matching, so to speak, didn't work as efficiently as it should have been working. And of course, this has been, nationwide problem that has been discussed a lot before as well. And we try to find new ways to develop this as well. Here is the list of our objectives, so-called official objectives. And of course, first is the number of customers we try to reach during this project, and that is 7,200. A little later in this presentation, you will see where we are at right now and how many people we have reached and how many clients do we have. Of course, the decrease in the unemployment rate, as I mentioned already, and also cutting unemployment off quickly in the beginning already, so those unemployment periods would not become so long. And of course, you might have heard that many people in Joensuu area and in Eastern Finland in general, and their unemployment periods, well, maybe as long as 1 year and even over 1 year. So we try to address that and cut the unemployment off as quickly as possible. Also developing a common model for the evaluation of the needs of services. And of course, this means that evaluating the needs of the job seekers in general. Personal coaching services, we'll tell a little bit more about those in a minute. And of course, reducing and minimizing the waiting times. In the past, especially here in Joensuu, the city's own unemployment services have been, well, pretty crowded, and it has taken a long time for individuals to be able to meet, well, actually anyone, but especially the waiting times for the individual coaching services provided by City of Joensuu have been pretty long in the past. So we try to address that as well. And of course, creating a service platform by combining multiple stakeholders, so bringing all of the organizations who work in the sector, and also the companies and job market representatives together to cooperate as efficiently as possible. That is also one of our goals. Quick list of our staff and the resources we have here. So we have currently 30 job agents. Duuniagentti is the Finnish name there. You might have heard that already. But yes, we are individual coaches, as I pointed out. A couple managers, service communications and marketing coordinators, controller, secretary, and of course the other workers, employees of the City of Joensuu Employment Services, of course, are related here. So individual coaching, personal coaching service, this is like the core activity and most important core process, so to speak, at Luotsi. And there isn't really one way of doing this. It all depends on the individual client, of course, what kind of situation they have, what kind of goals and targets, objectives they might have. But every client at Luotsi has their own individual coach or job coach that they may work with and try to achieve those goals as fast and efficiently as possible. To become our customer or client, you might be an unemployed person, but you might also be already working. So you might even have a permanent position in some other company, but you are willing to switch professions or switch jobs in general. And of course, students are welcome to become our clients as well. But we have this time limit set here, so it is okay to become our client if you will be graduating in about 6 months. So if you are like a second year, third year, or fourth year in university student, it might not be so close to graduation yet that it would be actually beneficial for you to become our client. So that is why we have that time limit set up there. And the other very important point here is that all of our clients must officially be living in Joensuu. So we are not working in North Karelia or Eastern Finland, but only in Joensuu. There might be people, of course, participating who live in Kuopio, for example, today, but to become a client of Luotsi, you have to officially be living in Joensuu. Now, how to become our client? There are a couple of ways. Of course, you can come to visit us. We do have our facilities and office here at Kauppakatu, and you may speak to the workers at the reception, and schedule an appointment with a job agent there, but probably the most convenient way is to send a message via our website, and there's also a chat feature integrated on the website that may be used, or it might be possible also to schedule a meeting with a certain job coach by contacting them directly. We do have all of our individual coaches information on our website, and also the contact information is included there, so email addresses and phone numbers. So there isn't like any kind of formal way how to contact us, but can be done in multiple ways. Now, as I mentioned, that to become our client, you have to be living in Joensuu. And if you are currently a student, you have to be graduating in about 6 months. But then we do offer other services also, which are open to everyone. And one of those services are different kind of events we arrange. And now, usually these are live events that take place here at our facilities, but of course, because of this pandemic situation during the last couple of years, most of these have been also done remotely generally. And these events usually are the kind of events where we have invited companies to the event, and also, of course, they are open to all of the participants who are willing to come and meet with the companies, the employers of this area. And the most important task, the reason why these events are organized, is that we may via these events be able to offer possibilities for the encounters for the job seekers and employers to meet and to get in contact and to discuss about the possibilities. And of course, every now and then it is possible, if the companies are hiring, to set up a job interview right there during the event, and things further from there. So the matching is written there, and of course that is one of the key points. Of course, sharing information in general about the jobs and also the educational possibilities, if the schools are included, is one of the things there. And as I mentioned, these are open to everyone. So no need to be living in Joensuu officially, and no need to be graduating within 6 months at all. And these events are listed in our event calendar. There's the link. If we do have time in the end, we can take a look at that website as well. But tapahtumakalenteri in Finnish is the name of this calendar that can be found there. Now we do have some other free services in addition to those events as well, and some of them are listed here. We do have career counselors from UEF and Karelia University of Applied Sciences once per week at our office. So it is possible to come to meet them and see them there. We do also offer services for the people who are planning to start a business. Maybe they have some kind of business idea or already have written some kind of business plan and want to get some kind of feedback from that, or they are not quite sure what would be the next step in taking the idea forward. So it is possible actually every Friday, I think it was at 12 p.m. to visit us, stop by and discuss with the professionals who is working at the Business Joensuu, and they are the people there who are responsible for coaching the new entrepreneurs and helping people with the business ideas to take those business ideas and turn them into action and to real business. We also offer actually not Kela services. That is a little bit inaccurate there, but Kela representative will be available via Luotsi as well. And I think currently actually this service is available daily. So you may stop by at our reception and schedule a meeting with the Kela representative. And currently they are working remotely, so it is possible to get in contact with them via us. We do have a remote contact point set up for them. Same goes with the office services and representatives as well. And the newest addition in the list of these free services is this job interview training or practice. Now, if you feel like you would need some kind of training or practice in job interviews, or you would like to try out your skills in interview, it is possible to do that here as well. This service is set up in a way that you schedule an appointment, or actually you schedule an interview time. And there will be 2 individual agents, individual coaches arranging this service, and they will be interviewing you. And there is some preliminary material. For example, you may have some position you are willing to apply to, and we may use that position as a basis for the interview, and kind of like arrange the interview for that exact position. And you will be receiving feedback from the interview directly and right away after the interview, and also the kind of like a developmental ideas of how to change the interview you took, what kind of things to do a little bit different probably in the future, and what things were good and what things were not so good. But this is a new service. If you are interested, do contact us. There isn't anything like a formal link or anything like that. Contacting us in, basically any way works there. Just mention that you are interested about this interview training and would like to participate there, so they can give you a time slot for that. Here are those results I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, this is only available in Finnish, but the first number is kävijät, so how many people have visited us since the beginning of Luotsi, and it's 16,583. This was updated actually in the beginning of this week, so 21st. And from those 16,500, 3,483 have become our clients, so official clients, and 3,483 have received their own individual coach and been working to achieve their goals together with the coach. And there is the number 2,189. It means that many people have found a job via Luotsi or with the help of Luotsi. And 487 has started studies, and 853 have some other paths. And now we also do ask feedback from our customers and ask them to kind of like grade our services. And on a scale from 0 to 10, the question is, how probable is it that you would recommend Luotsi services for someone else you meet or know? And we have received a grade 9.3. 3.9 would not be that good, but 9.3. So it's very, very good. And the feedback has been all positive in general, actually very positive. And the customers have been happy with the services they have received. Now a couple of words about the clients with a higher educational degrees. These are the kind of like things I usually, and we here at Luotsi usually go through with our clients who have the higher education degree. And one of the main questions that comes up is the possibilities of work, and especially work possibilities here in North Karelia and even more specific here in Joensuu. Many people obviously like to stay here. They have their lives here, and that's very understandable. And of course, finding a work possibilities first in this area is the priority. It might be that you have already been in contact with a couple of companies, applied to a couple of positions, but you have run out of options, so to speak, that you don't know which companies, which organizations, which employers would be available to be contacted. And of course, other possibilities would be very beneficial to go through those as well, but it might be a little bit difficult if you have no knowledge of the job market and knowledge of the companies in this area. So we do work with that question a lot. And of course, at Luotsi, we do have networks already built up, and we will be helping you to build your own network. And also, one of the key themes is that how you can utilize your own existing networks and the new networks you will be creating in finding a position in the future. Now, knowledge and skills, so know-how in general. Students and graduates with the higher education degrees usually do possess a lot of different skills and a lot of knowledge, and it is sometimes a little bit difficult to make all of it visible and to kind of like make the employees understand what kind of things you are good at, what kind of things you already know, what kind of skills do you have, what have you learned in school, and also the previous work experience, what kind of jobs you've had in the past, which were the areas of responsibilities there, and what has those positions taught you. So making those skills and knowledge visible is one of the key steps right from the beginning of coaching, and also from the beginning of the process of job search in general. And which professions, fields, and industries would be right for you? Well, I already actually mentioned this a little bit, but are you focusing on a narrow area of niche positions, so to speak, or would it be possible to broaden your search a little bit? Of course, broaden the area you would be working. So is it okay to like extend the locations a little bit, like from Joensuu, maybe at Kuopio there? Would it be possible to move there? How about elsewhere in Finland, or maybe sometimes even to I was going to say foreign countries, but abroad in general. And of course, if your position is like in very niche area, it might be very, very difficult, especially without any like a relevant experience to land a position there. But we might think that which other areas could be possible areas to expand the search in general. And of course, especially the fresh graduates with so-called generalistic degrees, which are not like experts in any like certain science. Those degrees are a little bit tricky because the knowledge and the know-how could be utilized in so many positions. And on the other hand, it might be that the job ads and the requirements of the positions in the job ads always feel like a little bit off. So you feel like you're not like a perfect match or fit to any position. But it's also a lot to do with the skill set and the knowledge and making it visible, because most of the customers usually do have a lot of skills that they are just not well aware of. And making those visible via coaching has been very, very beneficial to many of our clients, and actually gotten them real results also. Also, one of the topics we do discuss a lot is the possibility of internships, paid internships or unpaid internships. especially here in Joensuu, it seems to be that unpaid internships are a little bit more common. But would it be a usable, so to speak, stepping stone to get to the company and kind of like get to show your skills and to get to show how well you can take care of the areas of responsibility they are addressing to you, and also it would give you probably a lot more information about the industry and the company and the kind of a position they are offering. And of course, I mentioned already those networks. What comes to networks is also, especially for the graduates from the higher education, the utilization of LinkedIn in networking and in job search. How can you take full advantage of that system? Does it really matter which people to contact there and how to contact those people, and how to find new people to your network, and how they can help you in reaching your goals? We do offer also a little bit LinkedIn training here at Luotsi, but usually most of that is done with your own individual coach as you become a client. And especially for the university students and the graduates, the LinkedIn is very, very useful even in this area, although some people say that it's not very useful in Joensuu, but actually it is. And using and utilizing that is a huge part of the coaching process in general. Now the last slide here, Talent Hub Joensuu. This is our newest service, one of the new services. Actually, we already started this last year. But there's the web address, so talenthubjoensuu.fi, and this is targeted for the international talents in Joensuu and North Karelia in general, and also for the companies in Joensuu and North Karelia who are looking for, especially professionals, expert positions, but on the other hand, the companies are also lacking of the suitable candidates, and they are expanding their searches more and more. And this website is, it's basically started to act as a network and place of encounter, and also to increase the chances of matching the suitable job seekers to the suitable positions. There are no language requirements. Most of the clients who have registered here speak mainly English. But of course, it is not forbidden for the native Finnish speakers to register here as well. There's every client on the site have their own profile to build, and listing the skills, degrees, work history, and areas of interest, goals for the future is of course very essential, and we all already wanted them to, and everyone to present them already in the profile, so it would be very, very clear for the reader and the company, and they would get a good idea of who is trying to achieve which goals. And of course, this service as well includes the possibility to meet a personal coach at Luotsi and to become our client. Usually we do contact everyone who is creating a new profile for the website and offer a chance to come to see us, to schedule a meeting to discuss a little bit more about the situation that you might have currently, but it is no mandatory thing to do. So if you think that you only want to publish your own profile on the website, but do not want to participate to the meeting, that is also possible to do. Absolutely. If you do have any other questions about this Talent Hub that I do not list here, you may contact me actually directly, because I'm one of the people responsible for this whole website. One thing to point out though, once you have created your own profile there, the profile will be visible to the public, so basically anyone can see it. So do not include anything that would be private information, so to speak. And I would also say that do not include your phone number there. Email address would be okay, or link to the LinkedIn profile, but nothing too private, because the profiles will be visible to everyone. So here are the websites once more: luotsijoensuu.fi and talent-joensuu.fi. Our address Kauppakatu 29, and that is our so-called general phone number. You may contact with any questions should you have them. And there is also my email address, antti.ratio@joensuu.fi. Any questions, if you want to ask something about your current situation in a little bit more private way, you can contact me, of course, directly as well. It is possible. And do visit our website and Talent Hub Joensuu website to find out a little bit more information of what I've just told you, so to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antti, for this information. This was a lot to take in, but it's so good that you have this kind of services there in Joensuu. And next, we will go straight on and continue to Savo's side with Marko Pietilä telling us about the North Savo Talent Hub. Marko, ole hyvä.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. So I will start sharing. Okay, that works now, and now the sharing. So now I understand. I have to share the whole screen. Okay. So let's start. So I guess you can now see my shared screen with the North Savo Talent Hub on the front.
I can't see it yet. Can you guys see it? Maybe there's a bit of a lag in the Jitsi server.
Okay, I'll try once again. This is new system for me. So and then is it now visible?
No, it's the third button below the.
Yeah, that doesn't seem to work at all. Stop sharing your screen, and when I push that button, nothing happens.
Interesting.
Well, luckily I sent it my presentation to you, so maybe you could share it. It doesn't seem to work from my side.
Yes, just a minute. Can you see?
Actually, I now found that there was I have different browser than you have, so now it works. Also from here. Yep. Can you see my sharing now?
For some reason, I only see a square.
Oh my God! Yeah, it doesn't work. So I'll stop sharing now. It really doesn't work. Yeah, I'm using Microsoft Firefox, and that might be the reason.
We could see the PowerPoint screen. So
Yeah, like the presentation mode didn't work, but the normal mode where you can make changes, that showed us correctly. So if you just use that, we can go also with that. If you want to. Or I can show it, it's no problem.
No, so if you want, I'll try to. Okay, it's so difficult. No, really, it doesn't work. It's better that you solve it. Totally impossible.
Yeah, no worries, these things happen.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
No.
Okay, it should be visible.
No, I can't see anything.
Me neither. Well.
Still not visible?
No.
Oh my God, I've tried every way.
This is interesting.
Marko, jos sä kokeilet vielä kerran, että saat sä sen PowerPointin jaettua.
Aloita samalla tekee mitä spekuliauksia.
It doesn't react at all now. Yeah, there's no reaction. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yeah, there seems to be some kind of blocking. Yeah. The Firefox seems to be more strict. on sharing. Now it works. Yep. So I came here to tell you something about North Talent Hub. And don't be afraid if you are from North Karelia, from Joensuu campus. This includes you also, because I'm a worker of University of Eastern Finland, and everything what I do concerns also our international students in Joensuu campus. But as you can see, this is one of these European Union projects, 2-year projects. It will end at the end of this year, and let's see what we can we continue after that, or maybe we can broaden the whole thing. But anyway, at the moment for this 2-year, we as a University of East and the Savonia University of Sciences, we are like running this show. And then City of Kuopio and then the Chamber of Commerce of Kuopio, they are like partnering us over here. And as I said, I'm from the International Development Services of University of Eastern Finland. And actually, one thing what I wanted to say about North Savo Talent Hub. So these names are now little bit misleading. You just heard about Joensuu Talent Hub, but it's a little bit different thing. The Joensuu, they have this matchmaking service called Joensuu Talent Hub, and over here we are more like coordinating all kinds of actions done in the area, which are somehow linked to the employability of our international students. So there's like a total difference. The names are pretty much the same, but the whole idea is different. So here in North Savo, we have this city own system of City of Kuopio. It's called Navigatori, and they are actually doing the pretty similar things what you just heard been done in Joensuu. But anyway, the idea why we have this North Savo Talent Hub came from the need. So half of the companies in Eastern Finland, they have like real problems to find skillful labor force at the moment. So here you can see this pie model from end of last year, and almost 50% of the companies in the North Savo area say that they have experienced real problems when they have been trying to find new employees. And at the same time, we have plenty of international students over here in the area. We have directly asked what's their opinion. Would they like to stay here if they just find a meaningful job? And something like
Fun times.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. So yeah, there was a break in the streaming, but yeah, let's continue. So yeah, 80 to 90% of our international students, especially the master students, they would be willing to stay in the area if they just find some meaningful job from the area. And yeah, you can see this is actually this diagram is from our talent hunt questionnaire what we sent it to our students last fall. So it's very recent data. So what are our aims? So of course the first and most important aim is to help our international students to find job. And then the second aim is to develop this kind of service paths for international talents and companies. So many of our companies, especially those smaller companies or medium-sized companies, they don't have means to employ international talents. They don't know enough. They might even have like wrong ideas about the complexity of hiring international talents. They might think that hiring a student for example, for training it would need some extra hard bureaucracy. They might even think that the immigration they need to apply some kind of permits from the immigration service and things like that. And that's not the case. It's as easy for the companies to hire an international student as any another student, because you already have, as an international student, you already have this work permit. You can work 50% of your working time. So that means that you can do something like 25 hours per week working while during the study terms, and during the study breaks, for example, in the summer, you can work full time without any permissions from the immigration services. And many of the companies don't know this. So we need to like educate the companies and and then also develop our like web pages and all kinds of and give them information about these things. And then the third thing what we are doing, we are actually coordinating these local actions, because there's quite many of players in this doing similar things what we are doing. So we are coordinating the actions, try to make some sense that which party to contact when you have some questions. And over here, I just listed some actions what we have already done. And many of these are very familiar for you already. I guess the most famous or well-known is the UEF training program. And then the talent hunt survey, this was sent to all of the international students in our university, including the doctoral students. And then we have had this kind of like actions like Talent Hub competition and brand yourself webinars. So let's go to these in more detail. So the UEF training program, it's actually, the program itself is paid by the university. So it comes from the strategic funding of the university, and it has this 80,000 euros budget. But it's under the Talent Hub in that way that I'm running the whole thing, and I'm getting my salary from the Talent Hub initiative. So I'm getting my salary actually from the European Union to run these things. So yeah, that's the reason why we can brand it as a Talent Hub thing, even though university is paying the program. And the idea is that the UEF is giving money, for example, companies, so that they can hire our students for internship. And the idea is that the companies or the UEF itself can hire a student for this kind of internship for 2 months, and the salary is the minimum wage, but it is actually dictated by the Kela. So it's during this year it's 1,283 euros. So we have had 2 runs of this. So last year actually started already 2020, and then the students were able to do this training during the spring of 2021 and summer 2021. This time, it's the current call all around. We started it during last fall. We opened the call in last fall for the companies. So we were able to get something like 20 companies and organizations involved. And then we also get something like 11 placements from the UEF. So, and then we had another call for the students. So we got altogether 110 applications from our students, and actually the call was restricted to those who are not Finnish city, who didn't have Finnish citizenship. So we had to somehow limit the group, and we just thought that maybe it's the nationality. If you have a Finnish nationality, then you cannot apply. That was like the most straightforward thing to do. And so there was altogether 30 placements, and at the moment already 20 of those places are like secured. So there is a student for the placement already. All of those places in UEF, they have been filled already. That's always, of course, easier. But then we still have quite many companies who are still thinking. They haven't like found the match yet. And then there's some companies who have already said that okay, there wasn't good enough application, and they will drop altogether. But that's how it goes. And the early autumn last year, we sent this talent hunt survey for our international students. So this was sent it to everybody who were still like who were like actually it was sent it using this web audit system. So we got all the students, all the doctoral students, and the emails from there, and then we were able to send this questionnaire to all of the students, and we got quite many answers. For example, only from the master students, it was something like 120 answers. So it's quite nice number of answers. So we can actually make some statistics from that kind of numbers. From the doctoral students, we got 60 answers. So that's quite nice also. And the idea really was to get some kind of knowledge about the previous education and also the job experience what our talents had, because that's something what we haven't never looked upon. So it's quite novel information for our university to actually know what kind of experience our students have. And it was actually quite surprising to see that, for example, in our master students, 40% of our master students already had master's degree or something equivalent degree before they even started the master studies in our university. So it really shows that many of our students, they have like very good skills to work, and they have a lot of knowledge, even if they have only started their studies with us. And then we also asked the contact details, like it was voluntary to give the contact details, and the idea was that if we get if some companies ask if you have some talents for the company, or they would like to hire somebody, then we can easily check from our survey is there some students who could be like suitable for this company, for the who have this kind of knowledge what the company needs. So it has been quite usable information in that way. But we never give the information forward. The idea is that we contact the student. So if we know that, okay, there is a perfect match with a student, we send an email to the student, and then we'll say to the student that, please, if you are interested, contact this company. They are interested on your talent. So we asked all kinds of questions. One of the questions was what you find most challenging in your employment prospects. And over here you can see the 8 most challenging things what our students think. And it was quite surprising to see that the number 1 was how to take the first contact to a prospective employer in Finland. And I think this is a relevant question. But this is something also that we can help with. And of course the second, which is, it's difficult, important question, is the learning Finnish language and culture. And actually the university is now doing something for the matter. We are, for example, we are just developing this kind of online course for our students. It could be taken already at the time when they have applied to a master program, and you could take that course before you even arrive to the university. So to start learning the Finnish language just after you have like applied and you have like secured the placement in our university, you could start learning the Finnish. Okay, let's go forward. And then we held this kind of talent hub competition during last fall, the late fall, and it was quite a nice experience. Unfortunately, we didn't have so many students from the university taking part. Most of the students were from the Savonia Applied University. I guess the reason was that this was quite heavy. It took the whole week And at that time of the year, many of our students, they have exams, a lot of courses going on, so it was difficult to take this kind of week off, even though it wasn't like full week, but still. But the idea in this competition was that we had this task to do, and the students were working into groups and doing this kind of a problem-based learning system, trying to solve the tasks. And then on the Friday, the groups were presenting the results, and how to solve the task. And we had this jury who was like a how to say, evaluating these presentations, and then we were able to found the group who win the whole thing, and after that we had a little party also. So it was pretty nice experience, and the idea was to create some fun and have this kind of interactive competition. And so to the companies, because the jury was actually it was made from the company representatives, and also the tasks came from the companies. So to the companies that our talents, they can actually accomplish, and they can solve these difficult questions, and then also present these ideas what they had. And now just a couple of weeks ago, almost a month ago already, but anyway, we had this Brand Yourself webinar, and this was quite nice. We had something like 90 students over there following the webinar. Of course, it took the whole day, so not everybody were able to follow the whole webinar. But anyway, we had these keynote lectures. The first one was from the Genelec. So the HR director, Johanna Ylikarhi, was actually giving a lecture how to make a good, how to brand yourself, and how to seek job, and how to be noticed. And you can actually watch this from the YouTube. Over there you can see the address for that. And you can find these addresses from our LinkedIn pages. And then we had another keynote from Ahoy Creatives, and that was really good. I recommend to watch that. It was also about the branding yourself, but in totally different perspective. And then on the afternoon we had these companies pitching about themselves and offering their own, and showing the companies and offering their for example, summer jobs, what they can offer. It was a nice success, and really, I guess the students who were taking part, they could actually see that there's quite many companies, quite big companies also, who are offering summer jobs and placement for our international students, and situation is quite good. You just have to find them, and these kind of events are very good for that. Okay, our future developments. So the web pages are under construction. They really aren't in that shape that you should even visit them. They are there, but they are not ready yet. But they will be during the maybe on next month we can actually open them and publish them in better way. Then we are just opening a physical meeting point for the Talent Hub. It will be here in Kuopio in Savilahti campus. Actually, it will be in the premises of Savonia over there. But anyway, it's a good thing that over here you can just walk in. You can find us from there. This has the reason, of course, that we haven't had that before was the COVID. But yeah, now we are going to be there. We are going to have a grand opening very soon, and you will get information where to find. And then we have, because our project will end at the end of this year, we have already started to discuss with the other educators of the area. So with the Karelia and also with Riveria and Sakku. So all the major educators of the area, we are like combining our forces, and we have this idea to have this grand Eastern Finland thing called Live and Work in Eastern Finland. So let's see what's the name will be, but anyway, the idea is to combine our forces and serve all the students in the area. Over there you can see our LinkedIn page, and then also if you want to send us an email, there's this talenthubsavonia.fi, but maybe for you it's more practical to send email directly to me. So markopietilä.fi. That might be the easiest way to contact us. But please visit our LinkedIn page. It's easy to find. Just use the North Savo Talent Hub, and there we are. And the same goes with the Facebook also. Okay, I guess that's all what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for this, Marko. And we are running a bit late because we had some technical difficulties, but we will move straight on to Antti Räty's cover letter workshop or stream workshop, or I'm not sure what is happening, but Antti is going to talk to us about cover letter, and hopefully Antti will be able to share the screen much more faster than we were able to share Marko's screen. So thank you, Marko, very much for being here. And
Thank you.
We'll go forward, and there will be a recording on YouTube. And Antti, go straight ahead. I'm sorry you have a little bit less time than you were supposed to have. So just go ahead.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll try to keep this short and brief. Now I got lost in my own windows here. Okay, here we are. So, writing a cover letter is our theme here, and of course, many of the things are already mentioned in the previous presentation that we will come across here once again. But let's get straight into the core topics here. So before beginning to write a cover letter, as I mentioned in my previous presentation, knowledge of your own skills and making your own skills, know-how and experience visible is the first step, and it's also one of the most challenging steps as well. Think of the core skills and core skills always in context of the field you're applying to, or the field you have studied, the field you are expert of. Think of the context of the employer, the company you're applying to. How are they in general? What kind of company is it? And also the position, and more specific, the requirements of that position, which are hopefully listed in the job ad. And in those contexts, think of those skills you possess yourself, and try to separate the core skills of all of the skills you have and all of the skills that come to mind. And also the same goes, of course, for the knowledge. And also think about your past experience, your work experience. What kind of areas of responsibility had you had in the past jobs? What kind of tasks did you do in those positions on daily basis? And think of the skills that you learned doing them. Now, explaining this is always a little bit difficult, but it's a lot easier to discuss this with another person. So if you do have a friend or a colleague or someone else you could, or coach, someone else you could discuss this with, it helps a lot. And write your skills, knowledge, experience down. You have to be aware of those properties and qualities you do possess before applying to any position. And as I mentioned, especially for the students and fresh graduates from the higher education, as they have a lot of different skills and a ton of knowledge, these tasks is even more challenging than for someone who has not studied so much of all of the multiple topics and different topics and concepts. But it is doable very much, and it helps so much, and also helps yourself to get to know yourself and your capabilities a lot better. Then after that, think of the personal qualities. What kind of worker are you? What kind of worker do you think you are? What kind of adjectives would you use to describe yourself as a worker? Then the other way of thinking this is that you ask the other people, of course, what do they think? And one of the most important sources here would be the feedback you have already received, hopefully in your previous jobs or maybe in school. What kind of things others have seen positive in your actions and in your personal qualities in regards of the job that you were doing back then. And also, if it is possible to ask friends and family, for example, what kind of qualities do they see in you that are the most valuable, in general also, but as a worker and related to work, it helps a lot. So now, as we know the skills, knowledge, experience, and have some kind of picture of the personal qualities as well, we start writing the cover letter itself. And the structure of the cover letter, it does not have to be, the structure does not have to be too rigid or stuff. You may write in a bit more relaxed way also. It also depends on what kind of position you're applying to. Is it some kind of like a formal government position, or position in some, let's say, like a fresh startup business? It's very, I was going to say hip, but that sounds a bit funny. Anyway, and no need to be too formal usually. Let your personality show there. But one thing that I always want to emphasize and the stress is that you have to show your motivation in the cover letter already. Usually the motivation is not well shown or visible in the CV. So the cover letter comes into play here, and it can be very useful and beneficial tool in showing your motivation, making it visible. And no matter which position, always do emphasize your motivation to work in that exact position and in that exact field. Also probably the company, but I would concentrate on the position and the field basically a bit more. And that motivation should be visible from the very beginning of the cover letter. So it's useful to include it in the very beginning there, and to tell about your motivation and how eager you are to work in that position and you are applying to. Now the cover letter should also address, as I already mentioned, the requirements that were listed in the job ad. Now one thing to notice is that not every job ad is kind of like equal in a way that they would include the same kind of information. Some of the job ads, even from the larger companies, are not necessarily very good. And after reading that, you might be wondering that, so what are they actually even looking for? What are they requiring me to be able to do? And in that case, do contact the company or the person they have listed there to ask for more information about the position, because we need to definitely know what kind of position is, what kind of requirements there are, so we can address them and we can kind of like customize and modify and build our cover letter in a way that it would be very useful as possible for the company and the person who is reading that. And we would be bringing up the relevant things and qualities in general. And speaking of relevant skills and experience also, yes, you should bring them up in the cover letter, and you should also bring them up in a very specific way. Now, answering the requirements of the position is a good starting point, but instead of just telling that you do have experience of some of the areas of responsibility, for example, and you have the skills to, for example, use some of the programs or software or systems that are set to be the requirements for the position, do tell them a little bit more about those skills as well. How much have you used that system? How much have you done this and done that? And what kind of results have you gotten from it? What kind of feedback have you gotten from it if you have been doing that in past jobs? Now, some people ask that, is it really necessary to kind of like be specific? Would it be possible just to describe generally about the things you have done, about the things you have studied, about the things you have skills for? But always think that the people who are reading your application and your cover letter, they don't know you. And there are differences between the companies of the same field, even if there are two people working the similar kind of with the similar kind of titles. For example, they might be responsible for completely different things, and areas of responsibilities differ a lot. So always do be specific. It helps so much for the reader to understand who you are, what you can do, what you have done, what kind of knowledge do you possess. Now, the next point here is that do not say anything negative about yourself. Cover letter is not the place to list your kind of like a shortcomings or any kind of needs for the development. Those are the kind of things that job interviews for, and the interviewers, one of the interviewers' tasks is to try to find these, well, differences between the applicants, of course, and they are asking questions like which areas do you need development in, what are you not so well good at, probably not in exactly those words, but you get the idea. But in the cover letter, you should always concentrate on the positive, what you can do, where you're good at, what kind of things do you excel in. So keep it positive and point out what things you can do and not what you can't in general. And I would also not include any kind of sentences like, for example, now I'm applying for this and this position. I do not have any previous experience in this field, but I'm highly motivated to take this job, and I'm sure I would be learning pretty quickly all of the responsibilities and the tasks in this position. I would definitely say that you're a quick learner, and emphasize your ability to learn new things quickly. And of course, I would emphasize and keep the part of the sentence where you tell about your own motivation, even expand that a little bit. But I would drop out the part where you say that you have no experience in this field. Some people have asked me that, but isn't it like hiding the truth? No, it's not hiding the truth, because the employer can see that in your CV already that you don't have that kind of exactly that kind of experience in the past. But keeping the positive tone in the cover letter is more important than explaining your own shortcomings in any ways. And yes, it is also true that most of the applicants are great in many things based on the cover letters. And of course, that makes the employer's job a little bit more challenging to finding differences there. But they usually go for the people who have the skills needed, who have expressed those skills and specified them in a manner that they do understand that yes, these candidates absolutely do have these skills based on this cover letter, but also the people who express the motivation there, because it's so important. You can think about it in a way that if you would have your own company, of course you would want to hire people who would be super motivated to work in that field and in your company as well. And those people that, well, might have the skills needed, but you're a little bit like thinking, okay, are they really looking for some position, some job, or are they really applying to this exact position that I have here in my company? Now, I have mentioned there it is beneficial to be aware of the skills that might need more development, but do not list this in the cover letter. And this is a link to the job interview, of course, that if you are in an interview and being asked that, well, which areas of your expertise still need development, you should have an answer there, of course, but that is something that does not need to be included here in the cover letter. So make sure to present your know-how as specifically as possible. As I already mentioned, this is the same thing actually completely that I discussed before already, because the reader of the cover letter knows nothing about you and your previous work history, and it may not be clear to them without explaining the areas of responsibility and tasks, just as I mentioned. And there's the notion of the employees with the similar and same job titles in the same field may have very different responsibilities and results, but the reader will not know this without specifying information. And that is true. Do not assume anything. If you assume that someone who is reading your application is going to understand this and this and this thing, it's just not going to happen. Well, sometimes it might happen, but usually not. So why not leaning to the safe side, so to speak, and being specific, because you will only do yourself good by doing that. Now this other point gets back to those personal qualities that were listed in the first slide. One of the questions that come up very often actually is that how much should you be explaining and telling about your personal qualities in the cover letter? And now the core of the cover letter should be motivation, skills, knowledge, and work experience, past work experience, and maximum of 1/3 of the length of the cover letter, in general, like a rule of thumb kind of thing, should be these personal qualities, what kind of worker you are and what kind of worker you have described to be, and what kind of feedback you have probably received. And of course, this does not need to be a separate paragraph in the end or anything like that, but you may mix this in with the other topics as well, if that is something that makes sense in the text. But usually do not make this the core part of the cover letter, but more of like an additional information in general. Now, every now and then, or actually quite often nowadays, you do not need to write a separate cover letter and save it in a PDF format and send it to the employer, but they are utilizing some kind of online application forms. And of course, there are a lot of different kind of recruitment and application platforms that companies do use. And these are usually the ones where you have to register and create a profile and input all of your educational experience and work experience, and also language skills and usual information that is already included in your CV. But these systems have some advantages for the employers, and one of the biggest advantages is that they may be using keywords there and kind of like differentiate the applicants based on some keywords, for example, or the amount of experience or something like that, because otherwise they would have to do it in a way that they are looking and reading through everyone's CV and cover letters and then differentiating the people there and the applicants there. But this helps and makes it a lot more efficient for them, and it makes the whole recruitment process a lot more efficient. But if employer is requiring applicants to use an online application form, the same guidelines generally do apply. There's an exception if the form consists of several questions with a text field attached to each one. And I think all of you who have, well, if you have ever fill in one of these, you know that there are those profiles that I described already, but then there might be these separate questions like why are you applying to our company? Tell us about your strengths, or something like that. And then there might be some general text box where you can copy and paste your regular cover letter, and that is also one possibility. But if there are these separate text fields and separate questions, of course, do answer all of those questions. Do not leave those text fields and text boxes empty. and answer the questions one by one. There is no need to repeat the same things over and over again. It seems to be that quite often you could answer with the kind of like a same things to every, and with the same answers to every question, basically, just by adding a little bit something more, but no need to repeat it. And those answers do not need to be very long. More brief, the better, actually. And sometimes they have limited the amount of words you could put there as well. Now, those keywords I already mentioned. Those keywords, of course, differ from the position to position, industry to industry. You basically should already know if you have graduated or about to graduate in your own field, which kind of terms are essential there. And also, of course, the job ad brings up those as well. So they should be mentioned there, and they should be mentioned there in relation to your own skills and knowledge, because those are, quite often used to bring up the suitable candidates, and not all of the applicants and their profiles will even be seen by the recruiters necessarily, especially if there are a lot of applicants. And as I mentioned, write as briefly as possible. The same goes for the cover letter writing one. Also, maximum length of the cover letter usually is 1 page, and it takes a little bit of skill to include all of your core skills, knowledge, and personal qualities, but that also shows some very valuable skills of being able to briefly present yourself there and your qualities. Now, sometimes it's possible in these online application forms to attach a cover letter as a PDF file, and usually the CV is also one possible attachment there. Now, do definitely add and attach the CV there, but the cover letter is not usually necessary if the same things have been brought up in your answers to those text fields, no separate questions. If you have the cover letter ready, of course, it doesn't hurt anything, but you may think that what kind of added value does it bring here? Do you have all of the key information already presented in your answers to the text fields? If not, and the cover letter adds something else, of course, do attach it by all means. Now, the last point I added there is the video question mark. Sometimes these application forms and recruitment systems also offer a possibility to record some kind of video or add a link to your video if you have uploaded it to YouTube or to some other video service. And if you feel like it's okay with you, I would always recommend adding that video. Now, you might have some kind of video that you have used already in other applications, uploaded it elsewhere. That is fine if it's like a general presentation of who you are, what you have studied, what you have done, what you're good at, and what are your kind of like a motivation, for example, to work in a certain industry or certain kind of positions. If they do require you to select to shoot the video right there, and they have some kind of like a link to your webcam, and you have to talk to the video right there and then just save it on their side as a part of the application, that can be a bit more tricky, but of course it can be done usually multiple times, and you can try again if you want to. If you feel okay with it, that would be a benefit. There are a couple of key things when shooting a video that you should be remembering in general. Make sure, for example, the lighting should be good in general, so the video is not too dark and the sound should work. And third thing is that the video should not be too long. 1 minute video presentation is already pretty long, and 2 minutes is a bit too long. So 1 minute limit would be a good rule of thumb here. Not all of these application forms have this video option, but some do. Usually it's not mandatory, but usually if it's there, they are hoping the applicants would be using that as well. These are the kind of the things to remember while generally in a job search also. And first and foremost, do not give up. As a fresh graduate, it is expected, very much expected, to take a while before finding a suitable job, and especially here in Eastern Finland, North Karelia, Joensuu, if your goal primarily is to stay here and find a job here. There are a lot of applicants and not too many positions open. Of course, this differs. There's different amount of positions open in different industries, but this is like a general rule of thumb that it takes a while for the fresh graduates to find a job. So do not give up. Be active. And being invited to the interview is always a huge win, because you have so-called beaten most of the other applicants. So do take pride of this. Of course, if there's something in the interview that you feel like is a sticking point, or something, you failed somehow, it is good to address those kind of things. And of course, coaching might help there as well. But usually, even being invited to the interview is a huge win, and be proud of yourself there. And that is also the proof that you do possess the kind of skills and the kind of knowledge that the employers do appreciate and value, and they are and have been interested of you and what you can offer to the company. They do feel like you have something that adds value to their company also, and would be believing that you could take care of the position you apply to. Whether or not you become selected in the process, being invited to the interview already is proving that. And if there is something in the whole recruitment process that you would like to get feedback of, it is always possible to ask for it. Ask for feedback for the cover letter if they do not select you for the interview, or if they do not select you for the job after the interview. It is always possible to ask for feedback. One of the things, actually, multiple people have asked me that, how do you ask feedback? There isn't any kind of like a formal way of doing it. I would suggest contacting the person who was responsible for the whole recruitment process there. Usually it's HR manager or HR specialist, or someone with that kind of title. And if you were in the interview, of course, you know who were there interviewing you, and contacting them via email or calling to them and just asking for feedback. How did you perform? What do they think that you could develop for the future interviews? Is there or would there be something in your cover letter that you could address and they could give feedback of? Those kind of things. There is absolutely no downsides to asking feedback. Well, only downside is actually that if the company is not replying, if they are too busy. But otherwise, this is a very good way to develop the cover letter and interview. And contacting Luotsi, of course. Of course, I have to advertise our services here. It is possible to become our client in about 6 months before graduation, and you do remember from the previous presentation that you have to be also officially living in Joensuu. And of course, in our individual coaching sessions with your own individual coach, we will be going through this themes like cover letter, CV, application process, interview in general, and actually in very, very specific manner. I like to tear these down into bits and kind of like a restructure and rebuild the documents, so that you also and the client also knows that what we're doing and all of his or her knowledge and skills and experience is presented in a way that I actually discussed about, so that the reader understands it. So being specific there and making visible the whole area of skills and area of knowledge is of course one of the main topics here in the coaching as well. So working with your own personal job coach would definitely help, especially if you feel like you're stuck with cover letters and writing the applications and the application processes in general. So in those cases, you may contact us. This is the same contact information I already showed, but of course, directly contacting me is possible as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Antti. This was a great session for how to write the cover letter. And yeah, hopefully this day was very fruitful for everyone who has participated, and be brave to contact the speakers we have had today for more information about their subjects and presentations. And yeah, thank you for everyone for the day, and hope to see you in the next work-life event, which will be hopefully in April. Yeah. Have a nice day, everyone. And thank you again, Antti, for closing up the day.
Thank you. Have a good week. Bye-bye.